everyone. Here's what's coming up tonight on News Center Now.
We're not for gun violence. No, nobody is.
Supporters of the Second Amendment won't let the gun control marches go unanswered. They're organizing their own rally.
And she made a deal with her oncologist. If she beats cancer, he gets a new due. Time to pay the piper.
Step up to the plate. It's opening day and spring is here.
This is News Center Now. With an armed robber who's been striking the greater Portland area still at large, a small business in Old Orchard Beach is held up now. Hello, everybody. I'm Lee Goldberg.
And I'm Lindsay Mills. This is a story that's unfolding right now. So let's get to the scene with Chris Costa, who's live. Chris?
Hi, Lee and Lindsay. We just got finished speaking with the police chief from Old Orchard Beach a few minutes ago. He said nobody was injured, no shots were fired, but there were customers and staff inside the store who are obviously at this point feeling very unnerved. Want to show you a little bit of the scene right now. There's one staff member outside, a couple of police cars here blocking the entrance. The restaurant is closed for right now. Police say that the description of the suspect is similar to the ones that they've had in Cumberland County over the past 9 days or so in those 8 robberies and 1 attempt. They're talking about a white male, 5'8", thin, possibly blonde hair, dark clothes. They say that he did show a handgun. He demanded money. He got an undisclosed amount from the cash register and then left on foot. They used a Scarborough police canine to track that scent to a side street behind the restaurant, but that's where the trail ended. Police are assuming at this point that he left the scene. Right now they're reviewing security video that they say is a little bit outdated. They said there were about 3 to 4 staff inside. They weren't sure how many customers, but that the suspect instructed the customers to sit down and stay out of the way, which they did. Witnesses obviously say there were people inside the restaurant at the time of the robbery. And again, they're not sure right now if this is the same suspect from all of the other robberies that have been going on in the Cumberland County area. They're hoping that some of this security video, as well as teaming up with some of the law enforcement in Portland, Gorham, Cumberland, Falmouth, etc., will help them kind of track this one down. Lee and Lindsay, back to you.
All right, Chris Costa, thank you, live in Old Orchard Beach. So if this connection to any of the other 7 armed robberies in Greater Portland, if there is one, it's kind of outside the usual pattern.
The previous incidents were in Cumberland County. Today's happened in York, and only one other, also on Thursday, happened in the afternoon. Most happened in the late evening between 7 and 9. To keep up with the latest developments, stay with us on air for the next hour and a half. But for the latest information anytime, log on to our website and mobile app.
All right, other news now, and there have been rallies, there have been student walkouts, and the fight for gun control has been all over your social media feeds.
Now supporters of the Second Amendment are getting organized, and Mainers are ready to march for their right to protect themselves.
The gun owners are not monsters.
Dave Gulia and other gun owners are taking a stand.
There's been so much said from one side of the argument that the people need to know that we're their neighbors. We're, peaceful, law-abiding gun owners who are proud of our Constitution as it was written.
The National Constitutional Coalition of Patriotic Americans, or NCCPA, is hosting what it calls the Rally at the Capitals next month. We will assemble at every state capitol, founder David Clayton writes, to show our support for our Second Amendment rights and to support our Constitution as a whole. He also writes the Second Amendment isn't just about guns. It's about supporting the natural rights of self-defense, resistance to oppression, and the civic duty to act in defense of our families and our communities.
We're not against finding common sense solutions to gun violence. There's got to be a middle ground somewhere.
A movement for gun control has intensified in recent months, and now the rally at the Capitals to support the Second Amendment is scheduled for Saturday, April 14th.
This is not like an answer to the other demonstrations that have been happening, the other rallies. This is kind of like, this is our own thing. This is like, again, letting people know that we're out here, and again, like I said, we're not evil.
And Gulia says gun ownership in Maine is part of the heritage for many families, with firearms passed down from generation to generation.
So there's obviously been a lot of talk about the Second Amendment lately and what the founders really meant. Does it apply to assault-style weapons, or is it just completely outdated? We asked you guys this question yesterday. The numbers were pretty clear. 80% of you who voted in the Pulse poll do not think the Second Amendment is outdated. They think that it is actually very relevant today.
And that discussion kept going on Facebook. Jim says repealing the Second Amendment would be the second shot heard round the world, referencing the state of the American Revolutionary War. Ted agrees, saying it's not even worth talking about. A repeal could start a civil war. Matt says we don't need to end the Second Amendment. We just need tougher gun control laws like background checks and longer waiting periods.
Rachel says the Democrats aren't even fighting for a repeal. They want common sense laws. Devin is looking at the big picture. If we edit this amendment, what will be next? Kevin says there's a reason amending the Constitution is really hard. Should only happen with large, broad support. As always, we do want to hear from you guys, so comment right now on our Facebook Live feed.
More schools in America are hiring armed security officers. An armed officer was present at least once a week at 43% of U.S. public schools during the 2015-2016 school year, a jump of more than 10% from the decade before. That's according to a new report from the National Center for Education Statistics. Most new security hires were in elementary schools.
All right, so you know Keith is all about science, right? Well, here I guess
Yes.
this is gonna make this
He's hooked on it.
I'm gonna make this easy for you. Forget the solstice, forget the equinox, forget everything. In America, spring is opening day. That's
Says the
pretty
sports
much
guy.
all you need to know.
We were pretty hyped up in the newsroom over the baseballs, or Bill Green and everybody watching the game. Yeah, and it felt like spring today, right? Nothing amazing, but we got into the 50s in Freiburg at 54, 49 in Portland, 49 in Wisconsin, and 51 in Bangor, despite just questionable sunshine, kind of off and on sun through the day, and we've quickly turned cloudy. Temperatures right now in the mid-40s and upper 40s still. Rain, though, approaching from the west and moving very quickly. Now, keep in mind right here, it's not hitting a imaginary wall of any kind. Just got a little data problem there, but it's raining just into western Maine right now. The first batch of this is relatively light. There is more support, though, behind it that will mean rain consistently tonight with a few heavier downpours in there. And you can see it moving into the mid-coast around 8, 9 o'clock, raining relatively heavily for a short period of time. By tomorrow morning, we've got rain in the mountains, and we get a little bit of a break. It looks like for the early afternoon, that's our chance at 60 degrees just for an hour or so tomorrow afternoon. After that, a beautiful looking Saturday at least. We'll talk about the rest of the weekend in just a few minutes. Katie?
All right, the jury will decide if the Pulse nightclub shooter's widow is partially responsible for the carnage and murders. I'm Katie Ortiz with your top headlines today. In closing arguments, the prosecution said Omar Mateen originally planned to open fire in Walt Disney World, and his wife Noor Salman was with him in the hours before the nightclub attack. Her defense team says she did not know what her husband planned. And the tit for tat continues. Russia will expel 60 American diplomats after America kicked out 60 Russian diplomats. And because the Russian consulate in Seattle was shut down, the U.S. consulate in St. Petersburg will close too. Leah Lindsay.
All right, Katie, thank you very much. Okay, we'll take a break. When we come back, Americans agree texting behind the wheel should absolutely be against the law, yet half of us are still doing it. Also ahead.
Batter Up, it's opening.
It's a rite of passage. It's the official first day of spring for me.
Batter Up, it's opening day, and Mainers are celebrating the start of spring. The biggest danger on our roadways isn't drunk driving or road rage, it's texting behind the wheel.
It's an epidemic. I mean, I see this everywhere I go. New numbers from AAA show just how bad our habits are and how many lives we are putting in real danger. Jay Gray tells us about it.
Packed roadways, and AAA warns a lot of drivers who aren't paying attention.
We know that distracted driving tops the list of drivers as the growing danger on the road, and that's ahead of other risky behaviors like aggressive driving, driving while using drugs, and even drunk driving.
In a new AAA poll, 88% of drivers say texting behind the wheel should be banned. Still, 45% admit they've read messages while driving, and more than a third say they've sent one, making their risk of a crash 8 times higher. That risk became a tragic reality for Cindy Cooper. Her dad was killed when a driver on her cell phone ran through a stop sign.
My dad was thrown over her vehicle and landed on the curb, and his motorcycle was scattered along the side of the road. She ran right by him and never called 911.
Commuters see it every day.
You can actually look from your car in the rearview mirror of their car and see them looking down.
And hands-free isn't trouble-free either. This driver with earbuds blows through a stop sign. The best way to prevent problems?
Get rid of the distraction. Put your phone away while you're behind the wheel.
A move that could mean the difference between life and death. Jay Gray, NBC News.
Okay, just to recap, 8 times more likely if you send or receive text messages, so don't do it.
And great advice to just keep it out of sight, out of mind. Keep it in the back seat if you have to.
It can wait, I promise. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, this is a bet he did not mind losing.
I asked her, what would it take for you to get back to school?
Riveted by.
He may have to rock new hair color, but only because a girl is still alive today.
And will we dodge a soggy Easter? Your full forecast is coming up.
So you've all heard of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the organization that grants wishes to kids who have serious illnesses. Well, a teenager from Gorham got her wish 2 years ago. It was a treehouse.
Now that she's healthy and back in 8th grade, it was time to settle a bet with her oncologist, one with a colorful ending. Christina Rex reports.
Pink with blue spots.
Pretty pink.
That's the look Dr. Stanley Chaliff will sport at work for the next month.
I don't know if I was quite expecting hot pink.
He's paying the price for a deal with his patient, 13-year-old Morgan Walton.
My favorite color.
She's a former Wish kid and was gifted a treehouse while she went through severe treatment for multiple brain tumors.
This is awesome.
A bright student, that treatment left Morgan anxious to go back to school.
Fitting back in and being out for a while and what it was going to be like.
Morgan was dealing with anxiety at the same time, understandably with looking different than someone else, going through something different than someone else.
So Dr. Chaliff made it his mission to do whatever it takes to get Morgan back in the classroom.
I asked her, what would it take for you to get back to school?
I thought it'd be really funny because he's a very serious person.
And we had this conversation that she said, I think I need you to do something.
The solution? Dyeing his hair and beard her favorite color, pink, with blue spots for Make-A-Wish.
I think working with kids, you have to learn to not take yourself too seriously sometimes.
The paint job isn't just for the laughs. Morgan raised more than $7,000 to give another kid a wish in the future.
Because I want another kid to have a wish like I did because it's amazing.
Worth the laughs and the silly looks. In Scarborough, Christina Rex, News Center, Maine.
Morgan's campaign is still active. You can find a link to contribute on our website and mobile app.
All right, you're going to want to file this one under the "Are you kidding me?" category. At least that's the advice of the Oakland Police Department.
Listen to this. A post on the department's Facebook page says a kid purposely spun his tires right in front of a police cruiser, making that, quote, screech and smoke that just makes my skin crawl, because he read on Facebook that it's totally legal now thanks to a Maine Supreme Court decision.
Yeah, so here's where our old friends come in. The jokesters at New Maine News, they wrote an article called Maine Supreme Court Rules Rubber Marks Constitutionally Protected Speech. This article, like all of their articles, is satire, but it's been shared more than 500 times, and at least one person out there has not heard of New Maine News. Wah, wah. Too bad for that kid.
Wah. That can't be good for the environment, that burning that rubber.
No, it's one of my favorite things when satire places do satire and people don't understand that it's supposed to be funny.
The Onion's
See,
one of those places.
why would the Supreme Court take that out?
If
It's
that
so ridiculous.
person had watched News Center Now, they would have seen our story on New Maine News and known it's a joke.
Yeah, it is.
Another
anyways,
reason to watch the show.
And they would have learned about the equatorial bulge yesterday, so they really would have learned.
I was on a field trip for that
Would
one.
have learned a lot.
I wish I had been on a field trip for that one.
Your faces were priceless during yesterday's. Today's a lot lighter, but it's interesting. All right, that's a tease ahead. Right now, temperatures in the 40s in a lot of spots. We got to 54 in Freiburg, 52 in Lewiston, but the day is falling apart quickly as clouds moved in a couple of hours ago, and here comes the rain coming in through New Hampshire and Vermont. Look at the speed of this rain. I had mentioned earlier today at noon how quick the atmosphere is moving aloft right now, which in the end means our weather is highly variable, right? Yesterday was kind of a strange day, today one as well. But it also means no big storms because these systems are too progressive, too fast moving. So rain moves in, it sticks around through most of tonight and early tomorrow morning before we start to clear out tomorrow afternoon. Looks briefly beautiful. So hour by hour forecast showing the rain at first evaporating a bit, but then moving into southern Maine, into the mid-coast around midnight. And it'll be moderate rain with pockets of heavy rain embedded in there over down East Maine through early tomorrow morning. And you'll notice still some rain around mid-morning before we clear out for a few hours tomorrow afternoon. That gives us our chance at 60 degrees for about an hour or so. Then Saturday is beautiful, right around 50 degrees, sunny from start to finish. Definitely the better of the 2 weekend days as we get a cold front that moves through on Easter Sunday. It's not a big system, but it could mean a sprinkle or a flurry on Easter Sunday. Otherwise, temperatures in the upper 40s to around 50 degrees. So the board that I put out there about Easter egg hunts in the rain, it won't be that bad. It just kind of worked with the song. It'll actually be just a flurry or a drop around. All right, it will be windy though by Sunday afternoon. That's something we have to watch. Wind gusts 30 to 35 miles an hour here coming in out of the west-northwest. So that might be the story you take away through Sunday afternoon. Now, no, I didn't want to show you that yet. Hold on. I'm going to keep you guys, I'm vamping here, so pay attention, all right? I wanted to show you something somewhat important. So I'm walking over to the Weather Center, which is not that far away, luckily. All right, live TV. This is all right. Very professional stuff here. I'm new on this channel. Okay, here's what I wanted to show you. There we go. There is a storm to watch for next week. I couldn't skip this, guys.
Oh, no.
Storm to watch for next week for
You're
Tuesday night. Into Hey, Peanut Gallery, settle down. Tuesday into Wednesday, and it will at least start as snow and change over to rain probably along the coastline. It could be a big dump for the mountains. We'll keep an eye on that. So that's something that the computer models just started to kind of hook onto over the past 24 hours. So we'll watch it and see what happens there. Clearing and breezy on Thursday. Lee, is there something you'd like to share with everyone, or
nothing that the FCC will allow?
You know how April
well,
is.
Now,
you know how April is.
A lot of the viewers have been asking, are you going to name your child something weather related? So if your baby does arrive
during the storm,
if it's next Tuesday night into Wednesday, we'll have to name it something. I don't know.
Storm baby.
I don't think this kid's coming out at this point. He's
your
just,
child would be a storm baby.
He's just that would.
I mean, it would snow for you.
He had so many chances in March, and it didn't happen, so he blew it.
Now it's the time.
We'll watch that storm, though.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem,
Always good
guys.
to see you. All right, this just in. It's a update that a newsroom that just came in about a car fire that happened in Bangor. This happened last night, and we have just news that's coming in here. The 2 people were found in the burned-out vehicle. The incident has been ruled a homicide. First responders were called to the scene early this morning. Police have been working that case all day long. We will have more updates coming up on News Center Maine at 5:30. Again, this has now been ruled a homicide.
All right, today is not a national holiday, but there are a lot of people across the country, and I think maybe including yourself, who wish it were.
Well, it's opening day for Major League Baseball, so after a long Maine winter, we are ready to think green grass and the crack of the bat. Opening day in Major League Baseball took over the Twitterverse today as excitement and optimism filled the air. Here in Maine,
well, it's a rite of passage. It's the official first day of spring for me.
Lots of people either took a break from work or just skipped it altogether to make sure that when the first pitch of the season was thrown, they were ready and fed.
The cheese dog, did you want to make that a combo? It's our daily special today.
And no food is more synonymous with baseball than hot dogs.
You know, where are we going to get lunch? And then this just made sense today. Got to get the dogs.
Boston, obviously, they got some issues here, back into the rotation.
What makes opening day so special is for at least one day, hope springs eternal, all teams are even in the standings, and winter is over.
Got nothing to do with the equinox or the movement of the sun. It's all about opening day in baseball. Opening day, again, is just a special thing, and it's something you got to honor every year.
It's America. It's hot dogs. It's opening day of baseball. You get one of these a year. It doesn't get any better.
Rizzo, right field and deep. And gone for Anthony Rizzo.
That is former Portland Sea Dog Anthony Rizzo hitting a home run today. Now, he's done this many times before, but today was extra special. Rizzo is from Parkland, Florida. And today's Cubs game was in his home state as they played in Miami, about an hour from Parkland.
Rizzo was wearing a patch to honor the victims of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School shooting.
And, oh, by the way, the Cubs won.
Did they?
They did.
I haven't been keeping track, so thanks for keeping me updated.
To find out what's coming up on News Center at 5:30, we go to Amanda Hill. Hey, Amanda.
Hey guys, you mentioned that car fire in Bangor, 2 people found dead inside. Police are about to give an update, and we now know the names of the 2 victims. Plus, a late night decision means ranked choice voting will not happen this primary season. Why the change of heart? Those stories and more coming up in the next half hour. Back to you.
Amanda, thanks so much. Stay with us. More now when we come back.
All right, today's Brain Drops is something that actually started a couple of years ago, but it's continued its life. Here's one of the posts basically telling you not to eat baby carrots because they're bleached in chlorine, basically that they're GMOs and you shouldn't eat it. And if you went down, you'd see how many shares it has, which is how these things do really well. 255,000 shares. Okay, so let's talk about the truth of the matter here, and it's much less shareable as it turns out.
Please tell me it's not true.
It's okay, so what's true about it is they do wash baby carrots in a chlorine solution. But they do that with almost everything that you would buy at the grocery store that's a vegetable. So here's the official statement from the FDA. The FDA has all these regulations, right? Rules and regulations. And this is part of a much larger section that says the additive may be used in water to wash fruits and vegetables, and the additive is chlorine in a certain dilution. And then you wash it off with drinking water, basically, which is what they do with carrots, and they do with bagged salads, and they do with broccoli, they do with almost everything, because they don't want pathogens attaching themselves to the surface of this vegetable. So no worries with that. In fact, it's less chlorine than's actually in your drinking water in most cities. So you don't have to worry about that aspect of it. But I went down this rabbit hole of what are baby carrots anyways? What's the difference between a baby carrot and carrots that are chopped up into little baby carrots? So there is actually a hybrid that's a baby carrot. Now it's not a GMO, it's just a hybrid carrot that they took and they made it so it matures to a smaller stature. What most of us have are called baby cut carrots. They're a larger carrot that has been cut into little carrots so you can eat them. And it actually started in 1986 because a farmer couldn't sell his funky carrots to anybody. Nowadays, he'd probably sell them to Whole Foods, people would love them, but they just looked too funky, so he cut them up and people started eating them. All of this to say, they're nutritionally almost exactly the same. And look at how much more people are eating carrots after the baby carrot was invented. So it actually worked out. The only downside is there's a little nutritional value on the skin of a carrot. So if you want to get nitty gritty, you can eat that. But most people eat so many more of the baby carrots, it offsets the difference. So you're good. It's a bunch of
I'm happy I have some in my fridge.
Bugs Bunny is very happy.
Yeah.
News Center 5:30 starts right now.